Coming to you live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California, and all across the world, psychic, medium, and energetic healer Sheena Metal brings you Messages from Spirit.
Hi, and welcome to Messages from Spirit, only on PARAPOD TV. I'm your host, Sheena Metal. I'm a psychic medium and an energetic healer, and I come to you live every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific time from my home in Southern California. And here's what we do on the show. I'm a real psychic medium, and every week I talk to real people. And then they ask me real questions, and I work to get real messages from Spirit. And then we get them some real answers. We have a real conversation and hopefully get some real healing. So that's what we do every week. It's all about being real. And if you're watching right now and you would like to be a guest on the show, send me a text message, 818-437-0886. That's 437-0886. And if you're on WhatsApp out of the United States, 1 is my country code, 818-437-0886. That's 1-818-437-0886. And check out my website. My website, of course, is sheenametalspiritual.com. And follow me everywhere on social media, what my nephew calls the socials, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and X, formerly Twitter. I'm just at Sheena Metal everywhere. Let's talk about a little something before every show. Before I start taking questions, let's talk about the importance of showing up. It's a new year, right? New year, New Year's resolutions, new time to make promises to ourselves that we're going to become more of the person that we want to be. And not just for us and for Spirit, but also for the people in our lives that we love. So let's talk a little bit about showing up. People ask me all the time, like, how did you get this? Or how did you get that? Or how do you have all these shows? And I always say, it's so easy. I just kept saying yes, and I kept showing up. If you show up, eventually doors will open. It's so important to show up, mostly for yourself. Secondly, for universe. Thirdly, for the earth. And fourthly, for the people in your life that love you. We have an obligation to show up. We are not just meant here to float through this 70, 80, 90, 110 years that we have here on the earth and act like we don't give a hoot. We're supposed to be here performing our service. And part of that is showing up for your spiritual, emotional responsibilities. Are you showing up? Are you showing up to work? Are you showing up on time? Time is something I have a little trouble with. My engineer producer, Emery, will tell you that. He's probably laughing out loud right now. But I work on it. I work to make sure I get here. And it's not because I'm sitting around, in my underpants, eating Cheetos and watching Price is Right. It's because I'm trying to do a million things before I get here. But still, being on time is a show of respect. It's something I've struggled with my whole life, and I'm working on it. Are you emotionally showing up for the people that you love? And that doesn't just mean, oh, I'm in a relationship, so I haven't ended the relationship, so I guess that means I'm doing great. No. You have to show up emotionally. You have to show up spiritually. You have to be present. Just being a part of someone's life, saying, I'm your spouse, I'm your girlfriend, boyfriend, I'm your daughter, son, I'm your brother, sister, I'm your friend. That doesn't mean you're showing up. Showing up means, does this person need you? Or even if they don't, are you checking in with them just to say, I love you? Just to see if they're okay, just to see if they need anything, just to see if you can bring a little bit of your light to mix a little bit of their light. And it actually feels really good to show up. I don't know why people fight the idea of showing up, because I think it feels fantastic to show up. But you have to show up, and you have to be ready to give of yourself. That's why we're here. If you're just floating through life and you're shut off and you're not giving to anybody, why are we here? If you're shut off in a relationship and you're not giving, why are you in that relationship? Why are you friends with somebody if you're not ever sharing yourself with them? What is the purpose of it? Just to say you have a friend, just to say, oh, I'm a good daughter. No, you have to show up for the people in your life. You have to show up for the earth and make a difference and participate in things, donate to charities, vote, have opinions about what you want your life and your surroundings and the world to look like. Don't throw your chewing gum in the ocean. I mean, there's all different ways, right? That you're showing up and you're saying, I care. I care about myself. I care about the universe. I care about God. I care about the earth. I care about those around me. So I think we should all make that a little bit of a goal this year. We're going to show up. And if we are showing up, we're going to do better to show up more. Or we're going to find people in our life that maybe we're not showing up as much for, and we're going to show up for them. It's so important. So think about that. Think about that, and just think how you can show up more. All right. And with that, let's do a message from Spirit. I'm excited. It's our first show, 2024, our second year of Messages from Spirit. How exciting is that? Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Who are you and where are you coming in from?
I'm Nikki. I'm from Ashtabula, Ohio.
Beautiful. And what's your question, sweetheart?
I've been having some health issues lately as far as my back. And, they want to do surgery, but I'm only 42 and I know the complications that come with surgery. So there's an alternative thing that I was going to try called spinal decompression. And I'm wondering if that's actually going to heal me, or am I going to need to go with the surgery? And when am I going to feel better?
I wouldn't do the surgery until the absolute last minute.
Right.
Spirit is saying anything you can do. So the decompression sounds great. Also, they're talking about stretching. Have you tried going to one of those stretching clinics?
Yeah, I mean, my disc herniation is pretty bad, so stretching hurts. I can barely put my my socks on.
Yeah, do the decompression for sure. Anything but surgery just to start. Because here's the thing. When they do surgery, you can't undo the effects of the surgery, right?
Right.
So once they compress something, once they fuse something, once they put a cage around something, that can't ever be undone.
Right.
And it will always be an area. It's like having like a metal pin in your hip, right? It'll always be an area that's not 100% organically you, which means it doesn't have the ability to heal in a biological way, the way that it can if it hasn't been hampered with.
Do you see any like time like when I'm going to feel better? I mean, I can't even function as a normal human being right now.
No, it looks like things are going to get better by the spring.
Okay.
Also, are you doing a non-inflammatory diet just to get the inflammation off the area?
No, but I probably should.
That would be great, just for a while to feel the difference. I'm not telling you go your whole life without a cupcake, because that just sucks, but just for a while. And the other thing they're telling me is spiritually, let things go, because back problems from a spiritual perspective can be like you're carrying the world around on your back, right? You're hauling everybody's stuff around with you. And I can feel, just tapping into you and looking into your beautiful eyes, that you are a very empathic person and you take on too much.
Yeah, probably so.
So think about what you can let go of.
Okay.
What you don't have to carry around anymore. I always think of empaths. Like, have you ever seen one of those movies about somebody who decides they're going to hike across Alaska and they have this backpack that literally looks like they're carrying like a sofa?
Yeah.
I think that empathic people, that's what we carry around, right? All that stuff. Except we don't need that stuff. We're not hiking across Alaska. We don't need the canteen to survive.
Right.
We can let that stuff energetically go and take the pressure, the spiritual pressure, off the back too.
Right.
And I understand you have a legit physiological injury, but remember that your spiritual, your emotional, and your physiological immune systems all play together. So the spiritual may not have caused it, but it's not helping it.
Right.
So think about what you can let go. And then when the weather starts to warm up, things are going to get better. But definitely do the decompression. Let's try that.
Okay. Can I ask you one more quick thing?
Yeah, sure.
So I have a very much younger boyfriend than myself, and we seem to be getting along great. But can you see into anything that, like, is he legitimately like in love with me? Like, how long do you see this lasting? Like, what do you see regarding that relationship?
He's absolutely in love with you, sweetie, but I don't want to give a timeline on the relationship because then that makes you weird and you'll never be the same in the relationship.
Okay.
But he does legitimately love you, but he's young. So don't expect he's going to be charging towards marriage and all that kind of stuff right away because he's not in that space.
He always does talk about that though, because he seems like a long-term type of person.
Oh, I think he is. And I think he believes that, but it's for the future.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I think he's great, sweetie. You got a good one. So that's good.
Okay. Good.
Take care, sweetheart. I'm here
Thank
when you
you.
need me.
All right. Thank you.
Bet.
Bye-bye.
What a pleasure to read for you. Thank you for
You
going
too.
first.
Thanks.
I always
Bye-bye.
thank the person who goes first because it's hard to go first, Nikki.
Thank you.
You betcha, sweetie. Yeah, when you have an injury, think about what other things spiritually could be a part of it. You know, I have bad knees, and you know, the spirituality behind knees is, well, who knocked your knees out from under you? And I'm always like, okay, do you want a list? So think about that. It's there are spiritual things that play into our physiological problems, even if we have the physiological problems. So anything you can do to take the pressure off that problem is a super good thing. And you should be doing that. All right, let's do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, I'm Haley. I'm from Marin County, California. And my question is, I have recently had several dreams about two of my relatives.
Okay.
One who I knew really well,
Okay.
one who I never met, both who have passed. And I'm wondering what my relatives are trying to communicate to me through these dreams.
All right. The one that you knew very well is now a guiding spirit and wants you to know that you are being guided by them in addition to spirit guides and universe and your spiritual team. Sometimes when you're close to someone and they pass, most of your spiritual team you get at birth. But sometimes if somebody's very close to you and they pass, they choose to make the next step of their work for the universe to take care of you. And I call them a guiding spirit. It's because it's different than a spirit guide. It's kind of like what we in modern society call a guardian angel, but they're not actually an angelic. They're a human who has passed. Have you had a lot of dreams about this person?
So the person who I never met, I've never had dreams about before. The person
that you know well. Yeah.
I don't get a lot of dreams about this person. And this is a person who I thought when they passed, I would have a lot more experiences with, and I don't have very many. So it's actually unusual for me to have a lot of dreams about that person as well.
Yeah, I think that this energy just assumes that you know that they're guiding you, so they don't show up a lot. But now they're beginning to wonder if you know that, which is why they're showing up. So when you have the dreams, maybe in the morning say, you know, thank you, I love you, I know that you're guiding me, and I appreciate that, because they're just sort of trying to knock you on the head, like, do you know I'm here? Do you know I'm here?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the one that you never met, did they pass before you were born?
They passed when I was still alive, but I never met them.
Okay.
And I have limited information about them, but the dreams in particular focus on this person and what their personality was like. Though I couldn't see for sure because I never met them.
There is a reason why you are being sort of nudged to know more about this person, because there are things in this person's life and personality that are lessons for you that will be reflective in your own life. Are you spiritually gifted? Because that's what I'm getting. Do you know your spirit? Let me rephrase that. Do you know that you're spiritually gifted?
Yeah, definitely that I'm at least sensitive to it. This is actually not the first time this has happened to me with a family member who I didn't know, but from a different family. So
you have gifts, and this family member has the gifts also.
The one that I did not meet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the lesson that's coming in from this person is, my gifts are also your gifts. Learn more about my life and learn more about you. Have you researched this person before?
I I recently asked some family to see what information I could get, and then I did a little bit of ancestry.com research to see, and it's very limited, and it's a little bit hush hush, but the nature of the dreams and the personality that comes through, it's not the most desirable of qualities. And it's actually someone who it's almost the opposite of me. It's like they have no empathy is the way that they come across in dreams. And even in the dream, I asked them, I said, are you here to help me? And she was like, no.
Well, and I don't think that she is here to help you per se, but I think she is here for you to better understand her, so you better understand you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's about gifts. And I feel like this person, there was an amount of spiritual persecution
Mm-hmm.
because of her gifts, societal persecution, and that may be why you're not finding a lot of information and no one's really talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't show that it was like an evil person or a dark person. I just show somebody who was not understood for who they were, so their give a damn's kind of permanently busted. So I can see how that feels like lack of empathy.
Yeah.
But you have the gifts too, and I feel like sometimes you have been misunderstood in the same way that she has been misunderstood.
Yeah, it's interesting because there are aspects of what have come up in the dream that remind me of the people who have misunderstood me.
Yeah.
And yet then it does make a lot of sense to me that she would be somebody who was more sensitive and that she could be misunderstood for that reason based on what I know about the family and the family values and all of that.
Right. Yeah. See the lesson in you. Learn and see the reflection in you. It's to make you fall in love more with yourself.
So it's interesting because the dream started when I asked the question, specifically, I was asking for guidance around how to bring more of my art into my career. And this was the series of dreams that I got, and I couldn't figure out the connection between the two, but I wonder if you see anything in particular about a connection there.
Yeah. It's about you having more confidence in you, bringing more art in, and the more confidence in you as an artist and as a person comes from better understanding. And that's why these two are here. One who really understood you and one who was misunderstood like you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're in good shape, sweetie. Follow the dreams and keep looking for the messages. Get a journal and write them down.
Yeah, I do.
All right. You're in good shape. Thank you for being here today.
Great. Thank you, Sheena.
You bet. Take care. I love to do messages from spirit. What can I say? It's interesting how the dead visit us and the messages that they bring in. It's also interesting who visits us and who doesn't visit us. We don't always need to be upset or put out by those that don't visit us. Sometimes they're just busy with their own stuff. Sometimes they don't think we need them. And sometimes, for whatever reason, they're ashamed. So you have to give them a break the way you give living people a break, right? All right. So let's do another message from Spirit.
Hello.
Hi. How are you, sweetie? Who are you and where are you coming in from?
I'm Liz. I'm from Colorado.
Wonderful. And what's your question for me today, sweetie?
Can I ask a question for my daughter?
You can ask anything you want.
Okay, she's been going through a lot of new stuff, and she was wondering if John is proud of her and if he's still watching over her.
100% and 100%. Yeah, he keeps an eye on her all the time and is so proud of her. It seems like she's sort of gone through a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a trying time. She's really been working.
Yeah, she has.
Really working to rise above everything and doing a really beautiful job of that,
She
sweetheart.
really is. Also,
and so he's so proud of her.
Can you tell what color my aura is through the camera?
Your aura is a mixture of purple, which is spiritual ascendance, and green, which is part of like a healing energy. So imagine like a purple and a green sort of swirling around each other. And the green is sort of like it's like a royal purple and kind of a Kelly green.
How pretty.
Auras tend to
cool.
be very vibrant primary type colors. Like a Crayola box, like the original Crayola box.
Oh,
But except they're
also,
never black. Well, they shouldn't be.
I'm sorry. I was wondering, I've got cat balls around my apartment.
Uh-huh.
That's all I can afford right now, and they keep going off. Can you
Yeah.
tell who it is that's setting them
You
off?
got some activity there. You've got some
Yeah.
activity, sweetie. Make sure with the cat balls, and you mean people use cat balls for paranormal investigation. I use them for the cat. Make sure that you make sure you cleanse the house. Make sure you sage the house. You have selenite, salt lamps, whatever around. If you're going to be inviting activity into your own home, you need to be careful. Okay. I've got to run, but I appreciate you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you got to be careful when you investigate in your own home. Because you're inviting stuff in, and it's not always the people that you hope you're bringing in. Sometimes it's other energies, that are not the people you're hoping to bring in. So you just got to be careful when you do that. Now, I have a lot of those motion activated toys, not because I'm trying to bring spirits in, because God knows I live on an Indian burial ground and I'm not trying to bring spirits in. I'm the opposite of trying to bring spirits in. But the cat likes to play with them. They're his favorite. But sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning, they all go off at the same time. And I look over and the cat's looking over at me and we're like, and then the cat looks at me like this. The eyes get really big. And I'm like, yeah, we're not. We have to be careful how often we charge those things up, which is a shame because he loves to play with them, but I can at night with the auto, and they never do it during the day. Only at like 3 o'clock in the morning, they all start, it's like the toys are all, like that, like Poltergeist, right? Where the toys all came to life in the Poltergeist movie. Yeah. So be careful of that. Make sure you cleanse if you're going to do that. All right. Let's do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi, Sheena.
Hi, how are you? And where are you from? And who are you?
My name is Christy, and I'm calling in from Laguna Hills, California.
Beautiful. What's your question for me, sweetheart?
So I'm curious, my mother, my birth mother was forced to give me up for adoption at birth. And since I've reconnected or actually connected with my birth family in the last couple of years, I'm curious, has she been around? Does she know of me, or does she know that I'm okay?
Yeah. She's been gone for a little while, right?
Oh yeah, she died.
Yeah.
20 plus years ago.
Okay, because that's what I was seeing, that something went on with you. 30 was the number she was giving me, but I'm guessing probably like your early 30s. And that's about when she came in and started taking care. Right about the time she passed, there was a shift in your life as there was a transition in hers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
And so that's when she went, and immediately, because at that time she felt you needed her, that's when she started keeping an eye on you. So she's been keeping an eye on you pretty much the whole time she's been gone.
Wow.
And and really sort of hanging back, not knowing if you would ever discover her, but wanting you to, but trying not to push it. But then once you did discover that you were adopted, very much wanting you to find the family. So she's really sort of been doing everything she can to remove the obstacles to make that happen.
Okay. Do you think she'll ever visit me or come to me in a dream? Because I've never felt her presence around me. Maybe
I think you felt her presence, like I said, back then, and you didn't know what it was.
Right.
I think you have felt her presence. I just think you didn't know what it was.
Interesting.
It feels very much like she's presenting an image to me like a backbone. Like you suddenly felt like somebody just had your back. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And at the time, you might even have thought it was like a God energy. And that doesn't mean God energy is not around having our backs all the time. But I can see at this time in your early 30s, when there was sort of a little bit of a crisis of faith or an uncertainty, It's like when you sit in a chair and it has the great support, it just kind of makes you feel like, okay, I could sit in this chair for a year. So that's her. She comes in different ways. I don't know whether or not she will show herself to you, because she's not giving me an answer to that.
Wow.
But you look like her.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, when I saw the picture, it just blew me away how much, I mean, we look identical.
She definitely didn't want to until you knew about her, because she was scared that she would scare you if you saw somebody who looked like you and not know what it was. And she didn't want to do anything to disrupt the evolution of you finding out in the way that you did. She felt like she was supposed to step out of that.
Okay.
When spirits of loved ones guide us, and she's definitely a guiding spirit for you, they don't like want to be in our business or pushing us in one direction or another. Even my bossy Scorpio mother, who was, always giving her opinions, I'm surprised how she really doesn't now. I'll look at her when I think about something and I'm looking for guidance, and I'll tap into her and I'll see like the energy, and I'm like, oh yeah, she's not digging this at all. But she doesn't vocalize the way that she did when she was alive. And I think it's because they just have a different duty, a different responsibility. Once they're there, they're not supposed to mess with the timeline. They're just supposed to provide support,
Right.
But you've got something coming up in the next 5 years, maybe. Not something bad. I know we automatically go to, oh my God. No, something, a life path thing. And she's saying that she's also guiding you towards that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
New something.
Okay.
So keep an eye on that. But yeah, so if you really want her to show herself to you, or you really want to hear her voice, go into a quiet place and have conversations with her and ask. Because up till now, she thought that would scare the bejesus out of you. And nobody wants the bejesus scared out of us, whatever that means. I always wonder if Jesus is like, what in the hell is the bejesus? But, thank you for being here, sweetheart. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care. Yeah. It's hard with birth moms, and I think it's one of the most difficult things we deal with in this world, who's related to us and what they think and what that's about. I've been on my own 23andMe journey, not with my mother, because God knows I seriously look like she drew a picture of herself, and that was me. But with my father, so I know what that journey's like, and it's odd. So bless you for going through it, Chrissy. That's wonderful. All right, let's do another message from Spirit. I'm trying to keep up because we're doing some great ones today, and I'm chatty. Hi.
Hi, I'm Kayla, and I'm from Spanish Alabama.
That's beautiful, Kayla. It's funny because it's very dark where you are, so you almost look like one of those news segments where someone's in witness protection.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the lighting or what.
You have one of those voice activators. I called Sheena Metal, and I didn't want anyone to know who I was. Like that. All right, what's your question for me, sweetheart?
So all my life I've kind of known that I have certain abilities. I just don't know how to do them. But the first time I really found out was when I was 6 years old, and it was after my father died, or actually the day he went missing. And I was laying there in bed in my grandparents' room, and he came in there because it was around like 10:30 at night. He had walked in there and said, have a good night, sweetheart. I love you, and kissed me on the forehead. And because he goes to different stores for work, he drops off like these sweets and brownies and stuff like that. I wanted to go back out there into the living room and ask him if he can bring home some brownie bites from work the next day, and he wasn't there. And my whole family was in the living room waiting for any news about where he was. And I asked, where did Dad go? And they're like, he's still gone. He's not here. And I just lost my mind. I'm like, he was just here. And that's when I really found out something was odd, and I knew we had to go out and find him. And basically, behind where he actually was in Gulf Shores, Alabama, I knew we didn't need to go back there, and even my grandfather said we didn't need to drive back there because I was the one who told everybody we need to go out and find him at midnight. So we did. And then the next day, the cop showed up and said that he was behind Walmart in Gulf Shores, or Orange Beach, not Gulf Shores, but Orange Beach. And ever since, I told them that I saw my dad and everything, and they thought I was crazy. Like, I was literally sent to a counselor for years. Basically told me that it was my imagination, things like that. And it just didn't really add up. But after a while, I did tell myself I was crazy until like last year. So I do know I can see certain things, but it's mainly in my mind. Deja vu is normal for people, but it's like I know something's going to happen before it does. And I can read people without even speaking to them. I can look at someone and know how they are, they're a good or bad person, things like that. And I just want to expand a little more, see if there's something else that I'm able to do, and how do I go from here? How do I even like move forward in doing the things that I do?
Well, okay, so here's the thing, sweetie. First of all, yes, you have gifts, and that's beautiful. We love that story. It's hard to deal with gifts sometimes, and that can be hard, but you definitely have the gifts, and that's wonderful. You have a lot of activity in your home. Anybody who's watching right now, I don't know if you can, Gail, but anybody who's watching right now can actually hear the activity in your home that's happening right now. There's literally a voice. What happened with your dad is very common. It doesn't only happen to gifted kids. It happens sometimes when someone has just passed, especially an intimate family member, and wants to pass a message on to you. The most important thing is you need to stop being afraid of the gifts, or stop worrying you don't have them, and just accept them. That is the very first step on your path.
Okay.
But if you would do me a big favor and get some selenite or a salt lamp or two and put them around your house, because you're in a very active place.
I figured that much.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother died when I was 8 months old, and after my father died when I was 6, it's been hard to really know what to do, because my grandfather's Mormon, and my grandmother's family, all of us are Baptist. So it's very hard for older generation to understand that, things that are happening to me are actually happening. So they thought I was like a little crazy, or it's just my imagination, or I was just a typical child wanting to make up stories. And they still think that sometimes. They still do. And it's been very, very stressful right now. My grandfather is about to die, and my grandmother literally just went to the hospital this morning because she fell and busted her head for the 3rd time in the past 3 months. So we've got a lot of stuff going on, and I know there are so many things coming and going through the house, and trying to speak to me or, be around me. It's just a lot to really handle. And also, I also feel kind of weird when they are around. Last week, I actually was so sick that I couldn't eat or drink, and I knew that wasn't from me. I just knew it was different.
Right. And that's your empathy that you need to get under control, honey. And that's the third thing. The getting rid of the fear and the belief in you and your gifts. And then you've got to get your empathy under control. But meanwhile, because this thing is really active right now. Meanwhile, it would be a really good idea for you to do some stuff to purify your house. And text me and we'll talk about it. Text me and I'll send you a white light protection prayer to say. Because if you're going to succumb to your empathy and you're going to succumb to your gifts, then you need to be more protected. And we need to get this thing cleared out of your place, okay?
Okay, that sounds good.
All right. I'm sending you so much love, sweetheart. Thank you for being here. Thank
you, Sheena.
Good luck with putting your gifts in the right direction. Yeah. Wow. Did you guys hear that? It was like she was in spiritual witness protection. That thing gave me a weird energy. So one time when I first started doing my my talk show, that was a radio show before it was my weekly video show that now starting next week is going to be here on PARAPOD TV. Well, I guess actually starting today it's going to be on PARAPOD TV. I was interviewing a friend of mine who was a paranormal investigator that was on Animal Planet's The Haunted. And we got off the phone and I didn't know her. We got the phone. She calls me and she says, "There's something in your studio. I could hear it. I could hear." And I'm like, "What is she talking about?" I couldn't hear anything. So I go to play back the show she was on. It's like, I mean, it was like really going for it. And I think it was, she said it was in the studio. I think it was from her haunted house, but it was having a field day and it was legit really going for it. So, yeah, it's always a good idea to protect yourself, especially if you're going to open up to the world and acknowledge your gifts. Right. So, yeah. All right. Beautiful. I'm loving our callers so far. Let's do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi. How are you? I'm well.
Wonderful.
I'm well. Yes.
I'm so glad. What's your name and where are you from, hon?
Yes, my name is Maya, and I am calling from Lakeville, Minnesota.
Wonderful. And what's your message? What's your question for me?
So I actually wrote it down, but my question for you is, I've been on this nursing school journey, and unfortunately, I didn't pass the semester.
Okay.
I am just wondering if the school that I'm at is appropriate for me, or if I should just go ahead and look at another institution to continue with my nursing school journey.
Honey, I think you need a change because I think it's not making you happy.
Okay.
Does that make sense? But you are meant to be a nurse.
Okay. Thank you.
You're just in the wrong school where you're not really feeling seen.
Okay. Am I
think
currently
you do better in a smaller program?
Okay.
Where there's more individual connection, because I think for you as an empath, sorry, I just called you out on, international streaming app, but I think as an empath, the one-on-one connection, you lead as a nurse with your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need to have professors that understand that nursing is an empathic profession as well as a scientific profession.
Awesome. And
I just like you're not getting that where you are. Does that make sense?
Yes, it truly does make sense. Absolutely.
And also for you, healing is spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find people that understand that healing is it's a spiritual modality. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is scientific, and yes, there are medical rules and there are laws and there's education, but basically everybody who heals in any respect is a kind of shaman. And you have to think of it as a spiritual thing. And if you don't, then those just aren't the people that resonate with you. I'm sure those people are perfectly good nurses. They have not been my favorite nurses in my experience in hospitals, but I would imagine that that's just not. You need someone who's going to show you how to take the heart path as well.
So, am I looking at the other schools I'm looking into right now? Are they options for me, or am I not looking at the right place to fulfill?
I think they're good options for you. I think they're good options for you.
Okay.
And as soon as you get into a better place, you'll have no problem passing. You can be a little stubborn, and I say that with love because I can be too. And when you think that somebody is just not, you're not feeling it, sometimes you almost resist it.
Okay. All right.
And you've resisted this place, but don't resist institution of nursing, and don't resist the spirituality of it all. My friend, my nephew's a Santa Claus. I've had him on my shows, and at Christmas time he's a Santa. He's a historical reenactor, and he calls being a Santa Claus part of the Santa priesthood. And I love that. And that anybody who embraces the ideologies of Santa is part of the Santa priesthood. And I think there's definitely like a nursing priesthood, right? You're in it for the healing, and healing is a spiritual thing. Your body heals because your spirit heals. Yes. So I think you just need to find someone who gives you that energy. Now, you might not be flat out taught that in a nursing school because it might be illegal, but you need somebody who understands that so that you can, on the down low, yes, I'm a registered nurse, but on the down low, I know I'm healing people spiritually because I'm a secret nurse shaman. So I think that's there is that, and you can find that, and that's what you need, sweetie. And then you'll fly through school because you're smart, you know the stuff, your heart's in the right place, you're meant to do this. You just need to not feel like it's something separate from you. Does that make sense?
Do you think hospice nursing is, because I tell people that is where I want to end up retiring from, is hospice nursing?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 100%. And that's a job hardly anybody wants. But again, how spiritual is that? You're literally there at the transition. And you need somebody there who is loving like that.
Wonderful.
It's so important, sweetie. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, and a virtual hug to you.
You're so wonderful, and thank you for being here. And I wish you the best. Keep me posted because I want to hear all about when you graduate from nursing school.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Bye, love. Thank you. What beautiful people today. Their hearts are making me so happy. Just happy hearts. I other people's hearts make my heart happy, and I don't know what to say except, wow, that's what a lovely person, and what a lovely people we've had. And I don't know, I like softness and sweetness in life. I know everybody likes a little something different in life, but I was just having this conversation last night. I'm kind of a squish, and I might not seem like it because I'm tough and I'm practical and I have a very sharp Irish sense of humor, but I love softness in people. I love to see somebody's soft insides. And boy, we've had a lot of that today. And I think that's so beautiful. And I'm so happy for that. Okay, so let's do one more. We got one more. I'm excited to do another message from Spirit. Hi.
Hi.
How are ya?
Good.
I'm good. Who are you and where are you coming in from?
My name is Kaylee and I'm from Salisbury, Missouri.
Beautiful. And what's your question, sweetie?
Does my crush actually have a crush on me, or does she have mixed feelings about me? And will she ever FaceTime me or hang out with me soon?
Well, I think she has mixed feelings about everything, sweetie, especially about things like her heart and her sexuality and how she feels about romance and love in general. I think she's just young and she's trying to figure it out. But there also is a draw to you and a want to get to know you. So Spirit is telling me the absolute best thing you can do, honey, is just be friends. Let her get to know you. Let her get to know who you are and what you're like, and go have some fun together and have it be just warm and friendly and no pressure, and let things kind of happen. I think sometimes the problem is there's two people, right? And somebody likes somebody, and that person like you is very intense and very open. So you're like right on it and very open about your feelings. And that's so awesome, except that she's not as sure about herself, and that's something that she can't handle. So you got to kind of back off and just kind of be more casual about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Some people can handle that intensity and some people just can't. So for folks who can't, you just have to be a little mellow, right? Just be mellow and be loving and be friendly, and let her trust your heart a little bit more and let it develop from there. Okay? All
Okay.
right. Thanks for being with me, sweetie. Keep the faith.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. Wow, what a great day. What great people. If you want to be a guest on this show, send me a text message. It's going to go right to my private cell. Here it is, proof. 818-437-0886. Outside of the United States of America, no problem. WhatsApp me, 1-818-437-0886. And also, please visit my website and learn more about me, SheenaMetalSpiritual.com. And find me on social media at Sheena Metal, and follow me Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and X, formerly Twitter. I am all of those places. If you can think of any place else I should be, send me a text message and let me know, and I will look into it. I am available for private sessions. Please text me if you're interested in booking one of those. And we're here every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Pacific time on PARAPOD TV. Thank you to the owner of PARAPOD TV, the wonderful Tony Sweet, who takes such good care of us, and now will also be streaming my weekly talk show, The Sheena Metal Experience, starting today. And thank you so much to my engineer and producer, Emery, who is literally like my right arm. I would just have no right arm if it wasn't for Emery. You are the wind beneath my wings, friend, and I don't know what I would do without you. We will see you next week, and until we do, here are the things you can do for me. Seek peace in all you do. Live in love 24/7. Lead with kindness at every opportunity. Embrace unity, no matter how hard that may be, because we are one human family. And always work to raise your vibration, and not just yours, but also the vibration of those around you, because that will then raise the vibration of the everything. And most importantly, remember that you are loved, and you are love, and you're loved by me. I'm Sheena Metal. This is Messages from Spirit, only on PARAPOD TV. You be good to you, and we'll see you next week.